Today we're talking about fake friends. If you want to stop getting used, you need to learn how to spot them. And more than that, you need to learn how to make them expose themselves without you saying a word. So in this video, I'm walking through 6 things smart people understand about the people who only love you when you play small. The ones who make you feel like you have to over-explain yourself just to keep the peace. After watching this, I guarantee you'll never explain yourself to somebody who doesn't deserve it again. I spent years being the person who explained everything to everybody, and I paid for it every single time. All right, let's get into it. Tip number 1 is what I call the toll. Every explanation you give somebody costs you something real. Your brain's spending actual energy building that explanation, trying to make it land clean. But the person taking it, if they were never going to think straight about it in the first place, pays nothing. 0. Cognitive researchers have shown mental effort is a limited resource. You don't get it back just because you were being nice about spending it. So, a real friend never makes you pay this toll. They trust you without the paperwork. But a fake friend collects it every single time and never once pays you back. Let's look at what this actually sounds like. You make a decision, small one, skip a get-together, take a new job, cut somebody off. A real friend says, okay, makes sense. A fake friend says, wait, why though? And you feel that old pull to explain. Don't. That pull is the toll booth opening back up. Watch what happens the day you don't pay it. They get quiet. Then they get weird. That's not you being cold. That's them noticing the free ride just ended. And here's the thing nobody tells you about that moment. The way they react to your silence is actually going to tell you everything about what kind of friend they really are. I'll show you exactly what that reaction means, and why it's the single most reliable test you have. But first, you need to understand what you're actually listening for. Tip number 2 is silence reading. This one trips people up constantly. Relationship researcher John Gottman spent decades studying what actually predicts a relationship falling apart, and one of his biggest findings was something he called stonewalling. Going quiet not to listen, but to shut down. Most people can't tell the difference between somebody going quiet because they're actually hearing you and somebody going quiet because they've already checked out. But there's a tell. Real listening silence still has their eyes on you. Checked out silence has their eyes somewhere else, on their phone, on the door, on anything but you. So, next time somebody gets quiet after you say something once, don't fill it. Let it sit there. If they lean back in, that was real. If they just wait you out, now you know exactly what kind of quiet you've been dealing with this whole time. Tip number 3 is the status flip, and this is where it gets uncomfortable. Every time you over-explain a decision, you're quietly telling the other person their approval decides whether your choice was valid. You handed them the hammer. Robert Greene wrote about this exact dynamic, the idea that saying less than necessary makes you seem more powerful and in control, because the second you start justifying yourself, you've already signaled the decision is up for debate. But watch what happens the day you stop handing that hammer over. You make the call. You don't defend it. They push, expecting the old you, the one who always caves under a little pressure. You don't cave, and right there, you'll see it. Remember that reaction I told you to watch for? Here it is. It's not anger you're looking at on their face. It's panic, dressed up as anger, because somebody who was living off your explanations just watched the supply get cut off with no warning. That reaction is the proof. But knowing the proof isn't the same as knowing who's actually worth keeping around, and that's a different test entirely. One most people get wrong in the opposite direction. I'll get to that in a minute. Tip number 4 is the spread. And this one's not just annoying, it's actually dangerous to you specifically. Cognitive load theory, real academic research out of educational psychology, shows your brain's working memory is limited, and forcing it to process something irrational or in bad faith burns through that limited space fast. So, arguing with somebody who isn't operating in good faith doesn't just drain you in that conversation, it follows you home. You're short with somebody who didn't deserve it 3 hours later, and you don't even know why, because the fight that actually wore you out already ended in somebody else's kitchen. So here's the tactical fix. The second you feel yourself building a case, building an explanation, stop and ask one question. Is this going somewhere, or am I just refilling a tank that has a hole in it? Most of the time, you already know the answer before you finish asking. Tip number 5 is the filter, and I need you to hear this one clearly, because it's going to feel like a loss before it feels like anything good. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar has spent his career studying how relationships actually get maintained. And one thing that research keeps showing is that close relationships take ongoing investment to survive. Real ones are worth that investment. Fake ones were never going to pay you back for it no matter how long you kept investing. So, when you stop explaining yourself and somebody drifts because of it, that's not you losing a friend. That's the filter working exactly the way it's supposed to. The people who stay are the ones who never needed the explanation in the first place. The people who leave were never actually staying for you. They were staying for the access. And that's the test I told you about earlier. Not who reacts the loudest, but who's still standing there quietly a month later, not needing anything explained at all. But here's what I haven't told you yet, and it's the real reason any of this happened to you in the first place. It's not about them. It never was. Tip number 6. I saved this one for last on purpose, because everyone wants tip 1, and this is actually the one that matters most. I call it the mirror. Here's the truth under everything I just told you. The real reason you were over-explaining yourself was never kindness. It was need. Some old, quiet part of you that needed their nod before you could trust your own read on things. So, every explanation you ever gave somebody who didn't deserve one wasn't really for them. It was you outsourcing your own certainty to somebody who never should have been holding it. And I'm not going to tell you that knowing this fixes it permanently, because it doesn't. You're going to slip. You're going to over-explain again next week to somebody who doesn't deserve one word of it, but you'll catch it faster next time, then faster than that. So, in summary, stop paying the toll. Learn to actually read the silence. Take the hammer back. Protect your own bandwidth. Let the filter do its job. And remember, the whole thing was never really about them to begin with. They were never upset that you stopped explaining. They were upset the free version of you just retired. If this hit close to home, don't just scroll past it. Send it to the one person you know who's still explaining themselves to somebody who never earned it. And drop a comment below. Tell me which tip actually caught you off guard. It genuinely helps this reach the people who need to hear it, the ones still paying a toll they don't even know they're paying. Also, if you like this video, YouTube thinks you will like this next one too. See you there.